Unfortunately, today, the keys to a majestic building are being handed over to the proud new owner. This is happening in our country day in and day out. This is a building that has been witness to centuries of history. It has been witness to hundreds of men, of good men, being brought from darkness to light. It has been witness to the communication of the values that make a life worth emulating. And it has been witness to countless widows who have found the comfort they needed after losing their best friend. You see, this is an old building. It's been weathered by the time. It shows signs of aging, but it still stands strong, inspiring, majestic, unwavering. But now a new chapter begins. And not at the hands of other brothers, not at the hands of another lodge, but at the hands of just a regular person. How did we get to this point? How did the greatest fraternity in the world, the most respected organization, succumb to this level of vulnerability? We want a bright future for Masonry. But the only way we can do so is for us to look back and see what we used to do and see if there's anything that we're not doing today in order for us to forge a better tomorrow for our fraternity. Now, we're not going to sit by and look at this. We're not going to be victims of this position that the fraternity faces today. Especially since the reason we are in it partly has to do with me and with you. You are partly to blame for the condition in which we are today. And the only way we can hope for a brighter future for Masonry, if we could even try to hope for a better future for Masonry, is to take steps in the direction of making it what we want it to be. My dear brothers, distinguished guests, my name is Juan Sepulveda. I am the host of the Winding Stairs Freemasonry podcast and one of the co-hosts of the Masonic Roundtable. And I am delighted to see you here today because this is, in my opinion, one of the steps in the right direction, where we're doing things a little bit different, where we're thinking outside the box and trying to inspire people to do different things, to keep the new members of the fraternity engaged, excited, eager to move forward and break through the barriers that are preventing us from achieving our fullest potential. If we have any hopes of looking into the future, we have to start by looking back. Now let me ask you this. Think of the values that our fraternity used to communicate to brethren throughout the ages. Do we still teach them the same thing? Are we still communicating those values to people? I would like to say that our fraternity has and grants us full access to the values that made good men better 300 years ago, 400 years ago, 500 years ago. But what's changed? What's different? Let me put a picture in your mind. Imagine you are in colonial America in the years preceding the revolution. What kind of conversations do you think those men were having in there? When they sat in the taverns and sat in the lodges adjacent to them, what kind of conversations do you think they were having? You think they were talking about the weather or how Joseph's horse always had bad shoes? Or I wasn't there, and we don't have details of what conversations ensued, but based on the fruit of their labor, I would put my money in saying that the conversations those men were having then were meaningful conversations. Were conversations that dealt with the real problems that our country was dealing with at the time. They were having the kind of conversations that wouldn't allow a brother to go back home from a lodge meeting and say, well, that was a waste of time. Has anybody here felt like that? Because although you enjoy the fellowship with your brothers, everybody loves a nice meal before a meeting or after. If there is no substance within the meeting, where a brother can go back home better than the way that he entered that lodge, then we have no hope for the future of our fraternity. So where are we today? Do you think we've lost those values that we used to present back then? We haven't. What I feel we are not doing is that although we're presenting the lessons that our craft provides, we're not necessarily helping brothers put those lessons to work in their lives. I'm sure that if you told your significant other that you were joining Masonry, or someone close to you, if they had any positive image of what Freemasonry was, they expected you to change. They expected to see improvement in you day in and day out. The more you involved yourself in the fraternity, they would be expecting a change, a growth, something that would confirm the positive image they had of the fraternity. If today that's not happening, something's amiss. We're missing something. What I dream for today's Masonry is that every time you take the time to get your suit ready, to say goodbye to the family, to get in the car and commute to the lodge and spend time at dinner, that immediately after, you are giving something that is going to contribute to that growth, that is going to help you to move in the direction of improvement, in the direction of becoming a perfect ashlar. Now let's try to look into the future. I have to start by commending you for being here today. I know a lot of you have put a lot of time and effort to be here with us today, and we appreciate that sacrifice. And although you're going to listen to some things today that might pump you up, and you might go home and say, well, that was good. I like that. Oh, I didn't know about that. That's all great. I love that. But we will be losing and missing an opportunity if you don't go back to your lodge and you start forging that future. The way that we do that, we're here celebrating Freemasonry's legacy. We're looking back and see how things were in the past. Where did we come from? Like, what things do we have to celebrate? Remember, what we are celebrating is the memory of the brethren that sat in those chairs before you. Men that are no longer with us, but still hope for the same bright future that you and I are hoping. And we would be betraying them, betraying their trust in us, if we don't actually take the steps to make this experience the absolute best experience ever. So what I hope that happens with you today, as you hear all the brothers that are giving presentations, you engage in the discussions, I bet you're going to get value from just mingling with brothers out there. But try not to keep that excitement here. I want you to go out energized. Go back to your lodges with ideas. How can we put some energy behind our meetings? How can we get these people excited to really put to work and apply Freemasonry into their lives and make a change in their own lives, in their families, and in their communities? I want to leave you with this. Yes, it's all nice that we can say these words and they're energetic and they might excite you, get you all pumped up. But it's easier said than done. There's hard labor ahead. There's a lot of work to be done for us to make Freemasonry, well, not make Freemasonry, for us to embrace Freemasonry in the way it should be. It's going to be hard work. We're going to find obstacles. We're going to find people that don't believe in the progress that we may envision. We'll find that, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. What I tell you is that you can count on me, and you can count on these brothers right here. If you find obstacles, don't do this alone. Just get behind a brother. We're brothers because we're together, and we're working to make the change that it's going to matter. Significant change, lasting change, sustainable change. That comes with hard labor. Don't expect a salary without labor, right? You have to work hard in order to really derive the benefit of putting out the hard work. So as I say goodbye to you, brothers, I wish one thing for you. May your steps be firm and your path illuminated as we continue our journey up the winding stairs. Thank you, brothers.